Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys send number 12 to Packers to build for future in trade proposal. The Dallas Cowboys have a good enough team to compete for a Super Bowl if they draft well. While the Cowboys have some uncertainties, if things fall their way, it's possible Dallas could be a contending team. The offseason is still young, too, and there are many ways for the Cowboys to improve. Among them is what they do in the draft. If the Cowboys want to bring in win-now players, taking the best player available at number 12 would be the best plan. However, there's also a scenario where they could move on from the pick and put themselves in an even better position. In a proposed trade from KD Drummond of Cowboys Wire, they'd do just that. His proposal would send number 12 to the Green Bay Packers for number 23, number 54, and a 2026 third-rounder. In order to pull this off, the team would have to be much more trade-savvy than they have been. The Cowboys certainly have orchestrated trades over the years, but they hardly engage in swaps that engage several picks being exchanged, and rarely do they pull off the move back and then back up, complicated sliding up and down that nets the highest value out of various sweet spots. In this mock, the two QBs were still on the board when Dallas went on the clock, so there were more targets missing than normal. Moving back in this way put Dallas in a better position for most of the remaining guys who this GM preferred, though passing on safety Malachi Starks was a tough call, Drummond wrote. Who could Dallas draft? The Dallas Cowboys lost DeMarcus Lawrence in free agency. Lawrence, a veteran, is a very good player and will be missed by the Cowboys. Replacing him with a rookie would be tough. From a veteran leadership position, it's almost impossible to do. Production-wise, if the Cowboys pick right, it's possible. Keeping the pick would make that easier, and that's what Michael Mittelhust-Schwartz of USA Today had them doing in his latest mock draft. He had the Cowboys selecting Shamar Stewart, a physical DE who could replace Lawrence. Jerry Jones once again largely shrugged off free agency, making only a handful of early signings after declaring it was not a place he was looking to fill voids on the roster. Stewart might not be the day-one difference-maker Dallas will be under pressure to identify after getting meager returns from its last couple draft classes, but the 6'5", 267-pounder would be an alluring option as pass-rushing partner for Micah Parsons and successor to DeMarcus Lawrence, who signed with the Seahawks on Wednesday. Mittelhust-Schwartz wrote, "Is Ashton Jeanty a safe pick? The Dallas Cowboys could use a running back, and Ashton Jeanty might be available at number 12. If he's there, some expect the Cowboys to take him. However, selecting a running back at number 12 could be questionable, as they often aren't picked that high. Cowboys ex Amari Cooper is done according to NFL coach Frisco. It seems like a terribly harsh evaluation of a five-time Pro Bowler who is still just 30. But when former Dallas Cowboys wide receiver Amari Cooper is now being labeled as being done, and not by some wicked media member but rather by one of his former NFL coaches. When Amari was acquired via a cheap trade by the Buffalo Bills last season, it was believed that the move from the Cleveland Browns would allow Cooper to prosper with quarterback Josh Allen. To reclaim some of the very positive things he once did as a member of the Cowboys. Before Dallas, in 2022, trade dumped him to Cleveland. Cooper was supposed to boost his career in Orchard Park and maybe eventually sign an extension for the 2025 season with the Bills, who certainly had a vacancy at wide receiver after losing receivers Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. Instead, Cooper was one and done with the Bills. He essentially caught 2 passes a game there. And he is now a free agent and one getting a bad review from one of his own former coaches. NFL insider Matthew Berry of NBC Sports is reporting that the faded star is done, but again, that's not Berry's own take. Amari is done. That's not me talking, Berry said. That's from an offensive coach of a former team of his I spoke to at the Combine. Cooper finished the 2024 season with just 20 receptions for 297 yards and 2 touchdowns. He unfortunately exhibited some of the same issues that caused Dallas to move on from featuring him and from paying him $20 million per year. Shrinkage is the word we've used to describe the reason Dallas coaches and scouts soured on him here. There are Cowboys fans who want him back, and they have the right to an opinion about a player who in his career has 711 receptions for 10,033 yards and 64 touchdowns. And really, given Dallas' need here? We can see how somebody like Dak Prescott might think the same thing. We really don't think Amari's career is over. But we believe his old coach's scouting report speaks volumes of what likely won't be recaptured if and when he does hook up with his next team. Dallas linked to Tony Romo-type QB after Cooper Rush's departure. The Dallas Cowboys extended Dak Prescott on the biggest contract in NFL history last offseason, but the team already finds itself in need of another quarterback. Prescott is earning an annual average salary of $60 million over the next 4 years, so obviously the Cowboys aren't seeking a signal caller to start right away. But Prescott missed 11 games in 2020, 5 contests in 2022 and sat out 9 times last season. That's just one way of saying that whoever Dallas acquires to play the number 2 role is going to have to be someone on whom the offense can truly rely, as Cooper Rush often was over his 7-year stint with the franchise. With Rush on his way to play behind Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, many expect Dallas to seriously consider selecting a quarterback on day 3 of the NFL Draft next month, which means somewhere in rounds 5 to 7. There should be a handful of viable options still available at that point, including the undersized but heady Dillon Gabriel of Oregon. It's what's between the ears that makes Gabriel a fine choice for Dallas. His pre-snap reads and awareness, along with quick reactions and processing, make Gabriel one of the best in this department among all the prospects, Mike Poland of SB Nation wrote Monday, March 17. The way he dissects defenses and throws with a very quick release, he almost compares to Tony Romo. Where he differs from Romo, apart from size, is his speed and mobility. He has some wheels to get out and go. Will Grier is currently the only other player in the Cowboys' QB room outside of Prescott. He started 2 games last season, going 0-2 and throwing for a total of 228 yards and 4 interceptions. Are you a fan? What do you think about Dillon Gabriel's situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.